1, 2, 3. Saya cakap ya. Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning everyone. Okay, it is a great honor to welcome all of you to this webinar series from Department of Land Management, Faculty of Agriculture, Universiti Putra Malaysia. Okay, I am Dr. Syaharuddin bin Zaibun, will be your moderator for today webinar. Okay, for today, for today webinar, we are going to discuss in detail about the roles and mechanism of microbes and plant in detoxification of heavy metals during bioremediation process. Okay, for today webinar, uh, the presenter will be Dr. Muhammad Izuan Effendi. Okay, he is currently a senior lecturer at Department of Land Management, Faculty of Agriculture, UPM. Okay, he first obtained his degree, master and PhD in biochemistry at Universiti Putra Malaysia. He has published a numerous number of papers in preferred journals and book chapters. His research interests are in the field of environmental biochemistry and environmental microbiology. Okay, without further ado, I welcome Dr. Muhammad Izuan Effendi to present his webinar. Okay, please welcome Dr. Izuan.
Okay, thank you Dr. Syaharuddin. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning everyone. Okay, I'm Muhammad Izuan Effendi from Department of Land Management, Faculty of Agriculture. So for today's webinar, I would like to talk about and share about microbial and plants' role in bioremediation of heavy metals polluted environments. So before I start, I would like to share briefly about my research in UPM. So actually my work is mostly related to heavy metals. I'm used to develop a simple detection method for detection of heavy metals using bioassay and also biosensor. And then I'm also working on microbial bioremediation and phytoremediation for chromium and also arsenic. So that's all about my research in UPM. All right, back to our topic today. So we start our webinar with the definition of heavy metals. Okay, basically what is heavy metals? Okay, as you see here, heavy metals refer to elements having an atomic number greater than 20. Okay, and it has a density above 5 gram per cm cubic. So we are going to look to the periodic table after this, where is heavy metals in the periodic tables. Actually, these heavy metals are natural component of the earth crust, seen the earth formations, and it exists in the form of mineral in rock. Okay, due to natural weathering process and also human activities, make these heavy metals available in the environment. Okay, these are some examples of heavy metal which include lead, arsenic, mercury, cadmium. Some of them actually are needed by living organisms and also plant as micronutrient, and they are needed at very small amount, which is trace amount. And then some of them like mercury, lead, they have no function in metabolism. They can be non-essential heavy metals. Okay, actually, some heavy metals are formed in giant stars through. Sometimes we do not know from where these heavy metals are originated from. Actually, heavy metals are formed in giant stars through stellar nucleosynthesis after billion years after star formation. Okay, nucleosynthesis means nuclear reaction. They happen in star. Okay. Okay, just now I mentioned about heavy metal or heavy element are formed in giant star through stellar nucleosynthesis, and this process take billion years after star formation. So this actually make me remember to one ayat from the Quran, Surah Al-Hadid. We send down iron, which is very hard and has many benefit for people. Okay, when we consider this meaning, the meaning of the word physically being sent down from sky, actually it indicate a very important scientific miracle because now we have a very advanced modern astronomy. Okay, it has revealed that iron were found in our Earth not come from our solar system, but from giant star in space. And this is because temperature in sun is not hot enough for iron formation. So we take iron as an example because iron is one of the heavy metals. Okay, and in order to produce this iron, it can be only produced in star that much larger than the sun, where the temperature reach several hundred million degrees. Okay, and then when the amount of iron in star at a certain level, so it means the star is going to die when the amount of iron is very high, okay, and then it will explode, and this process we call it supernova. So these explosions make it possible for iron to be exported into space. So this is the relationship with the Surah Al-Hadid I mentioned just now. And then after that, it will change to nebula. It's a giant cloud of dust and gas in space, which is something like asap or awan cloud. Okay. Okay, and then during this explosion, it will synthesize other heavier element and then spread them through the surrounding intercellular medium. Okay, where during this process, it will provide raw material which is elements, okay, for the formation of new star and eventually planet and also living organism. So it means we are a part of star, and element in our body were formed million or billion years ago. Okay, God mentioned in the Quran, our heavens start in with smoke. You can refer to Surah Fusilat, verse 11, and it will end up with smoke. Okay, so this is one of the miracle of the Quran related to heavy metal. So you can find this ayat, Surah Al-Furqan, verse 25. I'm going to recite it. Meaning, okay, Surah Fusilat, verse 11. Then he turned toward the heaven when it was still like smoke, and saying to it and to the earth, submit willingly or unwillingly. They both responded, we submit willingly. And then Surah Al-Furqan, verse 25, okay, watch for the day the heaven will burst with cloud, and the angel will be sent down in successive rank. Okay, let's think about this. Okay, all right. Okay, this is the location of heavy metals in the periodic table. So you can see the colored one is the heavy metals. Okay. Okay, actually, heavy metal is not like organic compound. It cannot be degraded or destroyed. So it means it can be persistent toxic substances in the environment. So it means it can move if we introduce it into water, it cannot be destroyed. It will accumulate in plant, in aquatic organism, and then move through food change. We cannot destroy them, but we can change their chemical form, which is related to speciation and also bioavailability in the environment. Okay, being a persistent pollutant, heavy metal can accumulate in the environment and then contaminate the food chain. It can go through food chain, will biomanify, will bioaccumulate in the living organism and cause destruction. Okay, and also cause a potential health threat for their consumer, including human. Okay, and this heavy metal actually can be essential and non-essential to living organism. I have mentioned about this just now. Okay, essentials heavy metals means those required by living organism in the form of cofactor. Okay, this cofactor is important for metabolism of living organism in living organism. Okay, and then this heavy metal is important also to plant. It's important to plant. They can react as micronutrients. Okay, so it means they are needed around level range 10 until 15 ppm. If the crop concentration more than that, it will affect and give toxicity to plant. Okay, and then non-essential. Just now I mentioned about non-essential heavy metals like cadmium, lead, mercury, chromium. Okay, they are not required by plant even at trace amount for any metabolic process. So the availability of them can cause toxicity, although at very low concentration. Okay. Okay, heavy metal are present in many aspects of our modern life. They are available around us. They exist in our car, antiseptic, plastic, solar panel, our mobile phones, uh, pesticide we use in agriculture. So it means they are very important in our daily life. Yeah. Okay. Ancient heavy metal and history. Okay. Archaeological evidence suggests that copper, which is one of the heavy metal, was first used between 8,000 and 5,000 before century in the regions now known as Turkey, Iran, Iraq. Okay, and then Egyptian was first group to discover that mixing copper with arsenic and tin make a stronger and harder metal for suit for weapon and also tools. Actually, when we see development of the civilization, actually civilization have relied heavily on the discovery of the metal. We can see that prehistoric era was named using bronze and also irons. So it means prehistoric men used metal to build tools and also weapons. Okay, and then when they have ever knowledge on metals, okay, they have used metals in many of their applications. Okay, until what we have now, modern agriculture, we have used heavy metal in a lot of application. Okay, heavy metal and transition of agriculture tools. Okay, the application of heavy metals like copper, tin, and iron contribute to better agriculture tool. So these lead to greater efficiency and also higher quantity and also and quality of the agriculture product. So during Stone Age, which is the early of prehistoric era, prehistoric human they made their tool from stone. And then because of the exchanging knowledge and they know to use bronze and age, so transition occur to bronze age and iron age when human know and start making tool from bronze and also irons. And now we have modern agriculture. Heavy metal have been used in our advanced mechanizations. We also add heavy metals in organic pesticide, insecticide, and also fertilizer. And now, our concern on heavy metals pollution. Although it has many applications in our daily life, but the byproduct and also its waste must be managed properly. If not, it can cause tragic effect if we expose it out into our environment. Okay, actually, heavy metal pollutions occur because of industrialization, because of the demand. So, this increased demand for exploitation of the Earth's natural resources. If we don't manage this properly, means this can constantly adding heavy metals to the environment and cause heavy metals, pollutions of water and also soil. And then heavy metal pollution can be caused because of natural sources, including weathering of metal-bearing rock, soil erosions, and also volcanic erosion, and etc. Yeah, and again, okay, this is sources and origin of heavy metal pollution. It can be from natural process, agricultural process, industrial, and also domestic. And this will cause direct pollutions because it will end up in soil and cause soil contamination. And also it can cause indirect pollution, can cause like water contamination and also air contamination. Okay, heavy metal can cause soil contamination. Actually, soil are the major thing for heavy metal released into the environment. Some of them, okay, are captured by soil. Some will exist in soil water. Some will leach out to groundwater and also run off to the river and also others waterways. Okay, actually, this type of contamination is biologically toxic, widely distributed. As I mentioned just now, this type of heavy metals, we cannot destroy it, so it will distribute around the food chain. And then it will persist long-term in soil environment. Some of heavy metals, most of heavy metals do not undergo microbial or chemical degradation. So it means it's not like organic compound we can degrade it, but this metal we cannot degrade it. So it will persist for a long time after their introduction to the soil. And then the presence of this toxic heavy metal in soil can severely inhibit bioremediation of organic contamination. Why this happen? Because it affect soil microorganism activities that responsible for decomposition process. Okay, heavy metal contamination of soil may pose risk and hazard to microorganism, plant, human, and also ecosystem. Yeah. Okay, and then heavy metal can cause water pollution. Okay, heavy metals from anthropogenic activities, which is human activities, and also natural process can cause water pollution. Okay, heavy metal in water, it can bioaccumulate and biomagnify in plant and also aquatic organism, and then it will move through food chain and affect human and others living organisms. So I'm going to share with you a tragic effect due to heavy metal pollution reported in the history, and this occurred in Japan. In the next slide, right? Is heavy metal toxic to human? Yes, very toxic. Okay. For example, mercury. At trace concentration, it can cause acute toxicity that can lead to death. Okay. And then for long-term exposure, it can cause chronic effect. For example, neurological problem, lung disease, stomach cancer, and so on. So this happened because of we consume water and food polluted with heavy metals. Okay, Minamata disease is one of the problem happen in Japan related to heavy metal pollution. Okay, and this Minamata disease was one of the tragic effect of mercury, which is one of the potent neurotoxin. When we expose to this mercury, it will affect our neurological system. Okay, and this mercury also available in our daily life. This mercury we also use in our daily life. It's available in the thermometers and so on. So this problem happens because of unethical disposal of methyl mercury into Minamata Bay by Chiso Corporation during that time. So what will happen to the mercury? This mercury was then biotransformed by the bacteria in the water into methyl mercury. This methyl mercury is also toxic. Okay, it accumulate and biomagnify in the fish muscle, fish tissue. And then people around the bay ate a lot of seafood. So it means this mercury, as I mentioned just now, we cannot destroy it. So it will move from one organism to other organism through food change. So and then it will end up in human body. It's not only affect human, but it also affect animal. In this case, villager at that location began to notice their cat were behaving strangely and falling into the sea. It looks like the cat commits suicide, bunuh diri. Okay, and then the effect appear to the villager also. They reported numbness in their lip, and also had difficulty hearing and also seeing. Okay, and then they develop tremor. They cannot control their body. They dance, something like that. They cannot control because of nervous system problem. Okay, they have difficulty walking and also and even brain damage. Okay, and then this mercury, okay, this is more on chronic and also acute, but this mercury also can have very long-term effect because it affect our DNA. It can cause DNA damage, which lead to genetic problem. Yeah. Okay, this is one of the effect of heavy metals, and we don't want it to occur again and to repeat it again. Okay. All right. Just now we discussed about the toxicity of heavy metals to human. How about plant? Okay, plant also affected by heavy metals. Okay, plant they need certain heavy metals in their metabolism as micronutrient. Okay, if deficiency happens, so it will affect plant growth. But if excess happens, it can cause toxicity because they need just add very trace amount. Okay, so it means at higher concentration of this micro element, and then also in the present with unessential, non-essential heavy metal like cadmium, mercury, arsenic. So it means they are strongly poisonous to the metabolic activities of plant. So it means these excess heavy metals can induce stress and also cause injury to plants. And this will lead to growth retardation and also leaf chlorosis. So when it exposed to some of plant will be affected, whether directly or indirectly. Okay, it depends on the level of optimal if exceed optimal level. Okay, so it will cause inhibition of cytoplasmic enzyme and also damage to cell structure due to oxidative stress. Okay, all right. Exposure to heavy metals will generate oxidative stress and also production of reactive oxygen species. Okay, this oxidative stress can cause disturbance of metabolic pathway and damage to macromolecule production in plant. And these heavy metals also affect germination. We can see abnormalities and also decrease in germination rate, reduced root and shoot elongations, reduce total soluble protein, and we can see also oxidative damage to the seed during germination process. How about toxic effect to microorganism? Okay, heavy metal effect exhibits toxic effect towards soil biota by affecting key microbial process and decreased number and activities of soil microorganisms. So it means these soil microorganism, they are responsible for many nutrient cycle. If heavy metal affect this cycle, of course, indirectly it will reduce soil fertility, and then it will affect plant growth. Okay, and again, it will affect beneficial soil microorganism. Okay, we have it has PGPR, plant growth promoting bacteria. Okay, this bacteria is responsible for is important for plant also, because they provide nutrient also for plant during stress condition. Okay, and when this effect when heavy metal affect beneficial soil microorganism, it may lead to decrease in organic matter decompositions, and then it will make soil less fertile. Okay, this toxic effect, whether direct or indirect, will lead to decrease in plant growth, which finally result in the death of plant. And then in soil, we have soil enzyme activity. This soil enzyme activity is actually produced by the microorganism, and it is very important for plant metabolism. And this is can be inhibited by the heavy metal, because these heavy metals interfere with activity of soil microorganism. Okay, uh, how to overcome and reduce toxicity and availability of these heavy metals, of these heavy metals. So one of the way is through sustainable method, which is bioremediation. So basically, what is bioremediation? Bioremediation is a technique used to remove environmental contaminant from the ecosystem. So in bioremediation, it utilizes biological mechanism in plant, bacteria, fungi, and also algae to remove hazardous pollutant, including heavy metals, and also to restore the ecosystem to its original condition. So this is our aim of our webinar, is to focus on mechanism of the bacteria and plant in detoxification of the heavy metals. Okay, the main mechanism behind this actually is to detoxify, to absorb, to reduce, degrade, and transform toxic heavy metals into less toxic. Actually, this method is more eco-friendly. We are looking for sustainable method and very cost-effective compared to conventional chemical and physical methods. And this method also have several limitations. For example, generation of toxic sludge, okay, high energy requirements, and etc. Yeah. Okay, bioremediation can be carried out in two ways. The first one is in situ bioremediation. Okay, in situ bioremediation means the remediation process is carried out at the contaminated site. Okay, where the contaminated site in the polluted, where the contaminated soil in the polluted site is supplemented with nutrient to revive the ability of the microbe to degrade pollutant. And also for in situ bioremediation, we can add new microbe to the environments or improve native microbe to destroy the pollutant. And we can also use what we call genetic engineering. We can modify plant and bacteria to carry out this process. The example of this bioremediation, in situ bioremediation, are bioventing, biostimulation, and also bioaugmentation. So this bioventing actually is a technique used to add oxygen directly to the site contamination to boost aerobic bacteria to carry out bioremediation process. And then biostimulation. So this biostimulation means the addition of nutrient or rate limiting nutrient like phosphorus, nitrogens, some electron donor, okay, to stimulate the existing bacteria to degrade hazardous and toxic contaminants like heavy metals. Okay, and then bioaugmentation. Bioaugmentation means the addition of microorganism that has ability to biodegrade toxic compound in the polluted environment. So we add microorganism from other side. Okay, and then the second type is ex situ bioremediation. So for ex situ bioremediation, it involves taking away the contaminated media, soil or water, to others location for treatment. Okay. Okay, for example, land farmings, bioreactor, composting. Okay. Okay, microbe as a tool for bioremediation of heavy metals. Actually, microbial remediation or bioremediation is defined as the utilization of microbe to reduce heavy metals toxicity in soil or water by means of oxidation, reduction, precipitation, absorption of these metals. When we're talking about microorganism are the unique owner of different metabolic pathway because they can make use different type of toxicants for their source, for their energy source. Okay, for source of their energy for various cell activities, including respiration, fermentations. Indirectly, it help to remove heavy metals and also help to convert heavy metals to non-toxic form. Okay, before doing bioremediation process, usually scientists will isolate bacteria and also understand and study about the nutrient requirements and also biochemical condition like the requirement of carbon source, nitrogen source, pH, temperature for the optimal condition. And then this condition will be used and applied during bioremediation process. Okay, so information about optimal condition of nutrient requirement is important for the best activities of the bacteria during bioremediation process. Okay, for example, okay, scientists practice biostimulations that involve addition of nutrient to the contaminated site, which enhance the growth of microbe that assist in bioremediation. So before addition of the nutrients, scientists must study and understand about the nutrient requirement and type of nutrient can be used to boost the microbial activities and the microbial activities in the contaminated site and other factors, for example, type of soil, type of toxicant. So these are also we need to consider. And again, most of the microbes grow best at optimal condition, and modification of these nutritional and biochemical conditions would aid in growth of particular microbe. Okay, scientists actually deploy different process to alter growth condition. For example, if uh, if the if the sample is soil, if the soil to acidic, the condition can be reversed by adding lime to enhance bacteria growth. Okay, as you see from the picture, this is what we call bacterial cell, and the second picture shows the mechanism of heavy metal detoxification. Okay, through several mechanisms, for example, bioabsorption, bacteria have capability to absorb uh, certain heavy metals. Sometimes it can be selective, not all heavy metals. It will bind to the cell wall. Okay, sometimes it will be absorbed into cytoplasm. Okay, and then it can be biotransformed. In bacterial cell, uh, it has what we call enzyme. Okay, this enzyme will carry out several processes like reduction, precipitations, and so on. Okay, and then it also has what we call transporter protein. This transporter protein will pump in or pump out heavy metals. Okay, and then production of extracellular or intracellular substances for sequestration. Sequestration means microbial cell produce certain compound like protein, okay, that's specific to certain heavy metals, because certain protein like cysteine, carbohydrate, they are very sensitive to the heavy metals. Okay, and then antioxidant, this will help to chelate heavy metals or to form complex. So this process actually help to transform heavy metal to non-toxic form and then precipitate it. Okay, and I'm going to explain about this in the next slide. Okay. Okay, all right. During stress situation, heavy metals either dies of the toxicity caused by metal or survives the situation by evolving mechanism of resistance against heavy metals. Okay, so it means in order to carry out bioremediation, selection of potent bioremediation agents is very important. Okay, we need to select a microorganism that develop the mechanism of resistance against the toxicity of the heavy metals. So scientists will do isolation and also selection based on capability of the bacteria to resist the toxicity at higher concentration of the heavy metal. After that, we can identify the mechanism, the way how bacteria resist the toxicity of the heavy metal, whether it can be through enzymatic process, bioabsorptions, bioprecipitations, and so on. Okay, these are mechanism of heavy metal detoxification by bacteria. We are going to explain one by one. Okay, we start with biotransformation. Okay, biotransformations is the process where the structure of heavy metal compound is modified, okay, leading to synthesis of a non-toxic molecule through different process. This process is actually carried out by the enzymatic process through oxidation, reduction, and so on. And then also production of biosurfactants, pigment, and also cytosol. So it means certain bacteria, they have capability to reduce and oxidize in the presence of certain enzyme, for example, chromium, okay, hexavalent chromium. The enzyme is responsible is chromate reduction, is chromate reductase, chromate reductase. So this chromate reductase will change oxidation state of the hexavalent chromium to trivalent form, which is less toxic. Yeah. Okay, we move to second mechanism is bioabsorption. Actually, bacteria can absorb heavy metals, whether using dead cell or live cell. And this absorption capacity depend on functional group like amine, carboxyl on the exterior surface of the microbial cell wall. And this actually is very negatively in charge. So it means it has capability to attract positive charge of metal ion to be absorbed. Okay. And then bacteria also can produce polymer, extra polymer substances, EPS, during exposure to the heavy metals. Okay. So these EPS actually show great metal binding ability toward heavy metal. It will form complex with the heavy metal. So this actually will prevent their entry into microbial intracellular environments. Sometimes absorption power of gram-positive microbe is greater than gram-negative, and this is because the presence of coating of peptidoglycan, which has a greater number of absorption site. Okay. Okay, bioaccumulation. So it means bacteria have capability to accumulate heavy metal inside bacteria cytoplasm. Okay, so it means this bioaccumulation refer to accumulation of toxic pollutants in bacterial cell from the environment. Okay, and this happen because bacteria system transport heavy metals into cytoplasm using transporter protein, and then it will be sequestered by metal binding entities such as protein, peptide to non-toxic or insoluble form. Okay. Okay, the next mechanism is biomineralization. Basically, this process is bacteria will convert heavy metals to form mineral. Okay, and so this process help to remove heavy metal from the solution and provide a mean of detoxification as well as biorecovery. Okay, bacteria actually are capable of producing inorganic compounds such as sulfur. So this sulfur help to reduce the mobility of many metal ion and then precipitate them. And then the common biomineral common biomineral precipitated by these microbes are like oxide, sulfide, sulfates, and also phosphate. Okay, just now I mentioned about microbial resistant mechanism against heavy metals. Okay, one of it is extracellular barrier. Okay, this is microbial cell surface that prevent entry of metal ion by absorbing them to their surface. So they react like barrier that prevent heavy metal from entering into the bacteria cell. Okay, and then bacteria also have capability to absorb heavy metals due to the barrier just now, the layer just now, the presence of a peptidoglycan layer. This will absorb heavy metals together with functional group like amine, carboxyl, hydroxyl, and so on. Yeah. Okay, and then the next mechanism is resistance mechanism is because of the presence of active transport. It will this is what we call efflux pump that remove heavy metal and also maintain homeostasis. So when this toxic heavy metal also can enter inside the cell through the same transport channel system where the essential element enter. Okay, and then sometimes the process can be passive transport, which is happen without energy and it depends on the concentration gradient. Okay, this is the bacteria cell and the process. It can be enzymatic and it can be sequestration. It can be active efflux. It will be pumped out and in. Okay, some of heavy metal will attach to the cell wall because of the peptidoglycan and the presence of functional group that vary negatively in charge. Okay. Okay, and then the next is extracellular sequestration and intracellular sequestration. So it means this will the metal ion or heavy metal ion are sequestered whether outside the cell membrane or inside cytoplasm. So this means after sequestration, it will form complex with metal binding peptide in the cytoplasm or outside the cell wall. Yeah. And then the next is resistant mechanism is capability of the microbe or bacteria to reduce heavy metals ion. Actually, some of the microbe they have capability to extract out energy from this metal and also metalloid. They can use this energy as their electron donor and also as an electron acceptor to generate energy. So it means it has capability to change oxidation state of the heavy metals. I have mentioned just now about the chromium. Chromium will be reduced to hexavalent chromium will be reduced into trivalent form. Okay, so it means it will change oxidation state from hexavalent to trivalence, and this happen because of enzyme activity, not because of the chemical. Okay, we finish with the bacteria, so we move to plant. Okay, so treatment of heavy metals using plant, we call it phytoremediation. Okay, basically, what is phytoremediation? Okay, uh, phytoremediation is actually a green technology that uses plant system for remediation and restoration of contaminated soil and also water. And this process is not only involve plant, it also involve beneficial bacteria. These beneficial bacteria we promote plant growth during stress condition due to heavy metals, and also help to enhance removal of heavy metals. So relationship between plant and also microbe is important for successful of phytoremediation process. Okay, actually, certain plant they have capability to accumulate or to accumulate heavy metals in their plant tissue. Okay, this type of plant we can call it hyper accumulator. Okay, what is the difference between hyper accumulator and non-hyper accumulator? This hyper accumulator they can accumulate particular metals or metalloid in their living tissues to the level maybe can be as high as 100 or 1,000 of times greater than normal for most plants. And then it doesn't show any evidence of physiological stress. It can survive at very high concentration of the heavy metals. And then it also has potential application. We can use this type of plant for phytoremediation process, for rehabilitations of soil contaminated with heavy metals, mine restoration, and so on. Okay, and then example of hyperaccumulators like melastoma. Melastoma is in Malay we call it pokok senduduk. It has capability. It was reported to remove has capability to remove arsenic and lead from the soil. And then we have different type of grass like vetiver grass, napier, and also scopus grass. Yeah. Okay. There are five phytoremediation technique can be used for soil and water. Can be used for remediation of soil and water. Okay. The first one is phytoextraction, phytostabilization, phytovolatilization, phytofiltration, and phytostimulation. Okay, basically, what is phytoextraction? Actually, this is what we call a process of uptake and also absorption and translocation of contaminant by plant root into plant tissue. And this process also happens, also depend on rhizosphere part, which is more fibrous root, is good for this process because it can absorb much heavy metals, and then it can be habitat for different type of organism. Okay, and then these phytoextractions, the contaminant is not detoxified but stored in the part of plants such as in shoot and also leaf. We can this method is suitable for waste consisting of metals, which is good for heavy metal removal. Okay, what is the difference between phytoextraction and also phytostabilization? Okay, phytoextraction, as I mentioned just now, is more on uptake and also translocation of contaminants into plant tissue. But this phytostabilization is more on immobilization of the contaminants in soil and also water. The term is immobilization. Okay. So during this process, plant and bacteria they will work together. Then certain chemical compound will be secreted by plant. We call it root exudates, and then this will help to immobilize and precipitate. And this will cause immobilization and precipitation occur around plant tissue or root zone, and then prohibiting their migration into the soil. Okay, the next mechanism is phytovolatilization. Okay, this involves uptake and also elimination of the contaminants by plant with release of the contaminants or modified form of contaminant to the atmosphere. Okay, from the plant tissue during this happen during transpiration process. So it means this occur through plant leaf as they release from plant leaf as volatile compound. Yeah. Okay, phytofiltration. Okay, this phytofiltration is actually the use of plant and their microorganism, rhizophobic microorganism, to remove contaminant or like heavy metal from water, and this depend on the root. Okay, because the root it has a tremendous impact on this filtration process. Okay, and then the contaminated water is either collected from the waste site or brought to the plant, or plant are planted in the contaminated area where the root then take the water and the contaminant dissolve in it. Okay, then the next mechanism is phytostimulation. Okay, this phytostimulation uh, not only improve and increase not only improve and increase the decomposition and degradation of contaminant in the soil, but also create favorable condition for decomposition and also elimination of toxic contaminants. So it means the presence of plant uh, in the soil will stimulate microbial population around the roots in the development area by releasing secretions, we call it root exudates, into the soil. Okay, this process is important because rhizosphere has higher and more active microbial population. So it means by releasing secretion or root exudate, this will make bacteria more active. Okay, so and then this will indirectly will stimulate activity of the microbial population. So it means it will stimulate bacteria to carry out detoxification process. As I mentioned just now, bacteria also has different strategies like bioaccumulations, bioabsorptions, biotransformations, mineralizations, and so on in order to survive in heavy metals contaminated environments. Okay, and then this can help to remove heavy metals. Okay, plant also have their resistant mechanism. Just now I have explained about the bacteria resistant mechanism, and now I'm going to explain about resistant mechanism by plants to against heavy metals. Okay, when the plant exposed to the heavy metal stress condition, it will increase production of root exudate or organic acid, amino acid, and also soluble sugar and also protein. Okay, these root amino acid secretion, it should actually help to provide nutrient source for rhizosphere microorganism. And then soluble protein and soluble sugar, these aim to reduce intracellular osmotic potential to ensure normal water supply of water under heavy metal stress. And then organic acid, it has one or more carboxyl group. This help to chelate heavy metal to form non-toxic compound, and then it will prevent them from entering the plant. Okay, the next mechanism is chelation, production of metallothioneins, okay, and phytogelatin and reduced glutathione. Okay, these metallothioneins actually is cysteine rich and metal binding protein. Okay, it help to chelate heavy metals. And then phytogelatin, this phytogelatin has a large sulfur group, and it has strong affinity for heavy metals. Okay, and then reduced glutathione, which is amino acid derivative composed of glutamic acid, cysteine, and also glycine. So based on this protein, actually, as a scientist, we can look for development of biosensor because sometimes this type of protein, they are very selective to certain heavy metals. So we can isolate this type of protein, okay, for development of biosensor. Yeah, and then plant resistant mechanism can be due to cell wall because cell wall composed of cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin, and also protein. And this surface also have functional group like carboxyl group and also hydroxyl group. Okay, so it will combine with metal and then prevent them from entering plant cell. And then the next resistant mechanism is there are many transport protein. Okay, some of the protein related to heavy metal transportation process, such as heavy metal ATPase. Okay, they react like efflux pump. They will pump in or pump out heavy metals. Okay, talking about role of microbe on plant growth under abiotic stress. Actually, plant itself is unable to tolerate toxicity of heavy metals. So this process is helped by microorganisms like PGPR. Okay, PGPR is referring to plant growth promoting bacteria. Okay, this PGPR actually rhizosphere bacteria that can enhance plant growth through different type of mechanisms such as producing plant growth promoting substances. For example, production of phytohormones like auxin, cytokinin, and also gibberellins. And also these PGP are also responsible in nitrogen fixations, solubilization of phosphate, and also iron. And then these PGPR also help to reduce heavy metal toxicity by producing cytospore, okay, ACC deaminase, amino acid, protein. Okay, for efficient phytoremediation process, these PGPR need to be isolated and reintroduced back to the plant. So it's essential that the right strain or isolate of rhizobacteria be identified and used to enhance plant growth under a biotic stress condition. Okay, we come to the end of our webinar. So this is conclusion. Okay, the world is being polluted in so many ways with heavy metals, mostly due to human activities that is affecting our nature and health of so many people. We have in Malaysia, we also have many heavy metal pollution related to soil and water, and we also have class 4 and class 5. Okay, we have problem with heavy metal pollution in our Langat River and also in Juru. Also reported the presence of heavy metals in the river. And then microorganism and plant possess inherent biological mechanism that enable them to survive under heavy metal stress and to remove metal from the environment. Okay, so these microbes use various processes such as precipitation, bioabsorption, enzymatic transformations, and completion. And phytoremediation technique, of which phytoextraction and phytostabilization has been very effective to treat heavy metal pollutions. Okay, and then PGPR may promote plant growth and enhance phytoremediations by producing plant growth promoting substances. Okay, all right, this is reference. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Izuan Effendi Halmi. Okay, very nice topic on microbial and plant roles in bioremediation of heavy metal polluted environment. Okay, For last section, okay, we will ask a few questions to our webinar presenter. Okay, firstly from Ahmad Myong. Okay, for agriculture plot, okay, under continuous planting cycle, does this microbe able to fix the polluted soil that's caused by chicken manure? Okay, and how long will it take to remediate the polluted soil? Okay, please, the next one.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the question. Okay, for agriculture polluted site under continuous planting cycle, does this micro able to fix the polluted soil caused by chickens manure used widely as basal dressing? Okay, how long will it take? How long will it take? Okay, I think of course microbe have capability to fix polluted soil because of chicken manure. One of the way is you can apply what we call effective microbe (EM). This EM actually have capability to overcome this problem, and this type of EM has been used. And then I think it doesn't take a long time. I think after it exposure to the uh, to the to the to the waste. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Izuan. Okay, next question. Okay, which soil is in Malaysia are at high risk that's contaminated by heavy metal? And also one more question, can biochar be used to remedy this contaminated soil? Yeah, Dr.
Okay.
Izuan.
Thank you, Dr. Christopher, for the question. Which soil in Malaysia are at high risk and are contaminated by heavy metals? Actually, in Malaysia, we have many industrial locations. So it means the locations that are near to industrial that related to metal industry can be potential place for the heavy metal pollution. We have in Selangor, we have also in Penang, and so on. Can biochar be used to remedy this contaminated soil? Of course, we can use biochar. Okay, because biochar is carbonated, so it can absorb the heavy metals, and also indirectly it can be habitat for the microorganism. Okay, so this microorganism indirectly will help to reduce the toxicity of the heavy metals. So I think it's good. Biochar can be one of the alternative to overcome heavy metal pollution.
Okay, the next question will be, okay, how effective is bioremediation at removing heavy metal from the environment? Okay, does it improve the beneficial microbe in soil? And secondly, what are the potential limitation of this approach?
Okay, all right. Azrul, experience how effective is bioremediation at removing heavy metal from the environment. Okay, actually, uh, it can be effective depending on condition of the uh, uh, macam mana nak explain? Actually, it can be effective depending on type of toxicant. For I'm working on heavy metals removal of heavy metal using bioremediation. I'm use grass. It was discovered that when we expose grass at 100 ppm arsenic, it will just take around 1 month, okay, to absorb until trace concentration of the arsenic present in the in the soil. Okay, and then does it improve the beneficial microbe in soil? Uh, okay, regarding beneficial microbe, okay, we actually also need this beneficial microbe. So it means we need to boost this beneficial microbe in in soil in order to enhance bioremediation process. In order to improve the beneficial microbe, we can add, we can boost this beneficial microbe by adding something like molasses and other nutrients. Okay, potential and limitations. Potential is actually we can explore using genetic engineering. We can modify plant and also bacteria to carry out this bioremediation process. Okay.
Okay, and last question from Prof. Dr. Samsudin Yusof. Okay, tell me more about the negatively charged microbe exists in soil that absorb positively charged metal toxic to plant. Okay, is
Okay.
this the way? Yeah, please, Dr. Izuan.
As I mentioned just now, bacteria they have a cell wall. Okay, certain bacteria they have cell wall. The bacteria it has cell wall, and this cell wall it has what we call functional group, and this functional group is very negatively in charge. Okay, so it means this bacteria it has capability to absorb the heavy metals. Okay, because the cell wall is negatively in charge. Okay, so this will absorb positively charged metal to the cell wall and then help to reduce toxicity.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Izuan, and thank you, Prof. Dr. Samsudin, for the question, and all of you, thank you for all the audience that's come to our webinar series from Department of Land Management, Faculty of Agriculture. Okay, this will be the end of our webinar series this week and this morning. Okay, if you have any question regarding to heavy metal and bioremediation, you can email Dr. Izuan personally. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you, everyone. Okay, thanks, Dr. Izuan, for your
Terima
uh,
kasih Dr.
very
Syafruddin.
nice, interesting topics for today webinar. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.